MetaRunner Season 3 is almost here, and so I think it's the perfect time for yet another theory video. This time, I'll be talking about how I think the first episode of Season 3 could play out. Keep in mind that nothing I say in this video is 100% fact, and is just what I think could happen, because I've said it before and I'll say it again, this is just a theory. Everything I say in this video could be very wrong for all I know. For this video, I'll be using the Season 2 premiere as an example for how the structure of this episode could be, having 3 main scenes plus an opening scene before the theme song plays. I think the Season 3 premiere will be pretty similar in that regard. Maybe the episode could start with the moments after Lux's death, maybe actually showing Masa getting arrested or even what's happening on Dr. Sheridan's end. I've talked about this before, but I'm almost certain that we'll finally see what law enforcement in Silica City is like, and I think this would be the perfect opportunity to show that. Even if we don't get to see the police in the opening scene, there's no doubt that they'll appear probably very early on in the season, as Masa isn't going to be able to avoid them. Then of course, that will segue into another fantastic theme song that will most likely have stuck in our heads for the foreseeable future. I can't wait to see what AJ Desperado comes up with this time. Now, it's been confirmed that MetaRunner Season 3 will take place 1 week after Season 2, so I think after the theme song plays, that's when the time skip will occur, and maybe it'll pick up with the gang hiding at whatever location Marco took them to. I still think Marco has an ulterior motive, but I'm not too sure that'll come into play in the first episode. During this scene, we'll probably see MD5 try and grasp what the hell just happened with Masa, and perhaps maybe even come up with a plan to break him out of prison, as risky as that sounds. I know Belle decided to stay behind with Masa, but I still think her punishment will be way less severe considering that she didn't commit fucking murder. Speaking of which, I think the next scene could actually be either Masa being interrogated by the police or him behind bars. I'm not sure why they would be interrogating him an entire week later, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Either way, we're gonna see Masa going through hell this season. The final scene in the episode could be what's going on with Evelyn. At the end of Season 2, we saw her receive a call from Dr. Sheridan saying that he'll be able to give her Tari's abilities. Considering that the Project Blue experiment was a complete disaster that caused an explosion that nearly killed both him and Lucinia, I'm not too sure how much I trust him to do an experiment on Evelyn. But then again, it's Evelyn, so I don't really care what happens to her. Yay, fuck Evelyn! But I do think they'll set up the fact that Evelyn will now be able to go inside video games. Now, another thing, I don't think this is gonna happen in the first episode, but I was actually originally gonna make a theory talking about Evelyn in Season 3 and what I think her arc could be. Now, this could just be some crazy conspiracy theorist fanfic shit, but I think it would be cool if Dr. Sheridan really fucked up the experiment on Evelyn to the point where she basically became half human, half cyborg with wires hanging out of her, and she's all glitchy, and I don't know. It sounds crazy, but I think that would be really cool to see in Season 3. Finally, I'd like to talk about where Skybreakers fits into all of this. As we all know, Skybreakers is a pirate-themed video game that will be very important in Season 3. But if I'm being honest, I'm not sure how much we'll actually get to see of it, if at all. At least in the first episode. I think the first episode will be more so an aftermath of Season 2 that will also be building up the main goal of the season. So I think at the very least we'll hear about Skybreakers and maybe what the game is all about, but I really don't think we're gonna spend too much time. Maybe a very small amount of time. But there's just so much I think that could happen in this episode. I don't think they'll have too much time to go into Skybreakers. I could be wrong. I could very well be wrong, as I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, but, you know, it's just kind of logical. I think maybe they'll have that be a focus of the next episode. I just don't see how they'd be able to fit all that into a single episode. But then again, you know, we really don't know how long each episode in season 3 is going to be. Now, on Screen Australia's website, we see it's a 8 times 15, so 8 episodes times 15 minutes each. But for those of you who don't know, the 15 minutes is more so an estimate. There will most likely be episodes in season 3 that will be probably maybe even closer to 20 minutes or longer, because, for example, like, on Screen Australia's website for season 2, it said 10 times 13, so 13-minute episodes, but keep in mind that the longest episode in season 2 is almost 20 minutes long, so I definitely think you don't have to worry too much about the length of each episode. Anyway, I'm finished rambling. I know this was a pretty short video, but, you know, there wasn't really too much to talk about. I just wanted to go over, like, how I think the first episode will be, and I think this is a pretty logical way of how the season 3 premiere could play out. However, let me know what you all think of this theory down in the comment section below. But as always, be sure to drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it, as well as be sure to subscribe if you want to stay up to date with all my content. But with that being said, I want to thank y'all so much for watching. Until next time, guys, I've been Zelda Inferno, and I'll see you later. Bye.